Mahila. It's pretty windy. I'm at the park over here. I wanted to go over these kinetics. They kind of take my breath away a little bit. This could be my last video. I may get the call tomorrow to go ahead and stop making the videos. I don't want to flood out. I don't want to flood out. So my sleep has been a little irregular. That's why I'm kind of like I don't think I should be making them. Because I just don't want to flood out at all. I'm forced to play all roles. I'm sorry. Um, we've suffered mass casualties. I know that we have, and it's been a crazy ride. This started for me on February 2nd, 2020. Um, just getting into the deal. It was me and Solomon. That's the reason for the mask. Basically, during Sharks and Minnows at Copperfield, like he was supposed to drown and I was supposed to be the man of perdition. We didn't do that. We did something kind of similar to, but with scratches of Bill Duke in Predator, his monologue. We kind of did that. So that's the reason everything is so messed up, and that's why it's been messed up. Now, over here, these here of this 1971 times 4, Glenn Elmo Riggs, something for tomorrow. Remember, Paul Begley said that Mike from Around the World said that there would be a big event on the Earth because of the solar tsunami, the solar flares, CMEs, coronal mass ejections. That every time one of those happens, there's something that happens on the Earth, like a earthquake, tsunami, or volcano, and that we just had a volcano here, so it has already happened, but it could be even more something going on. He said it would be on the 25th, and I believe he got word from God on that. So the Spirit has been poured out upon all flesh. And I put one of his videos in my liked videos section because it was super informative about kind of this time flux we've been in. How like I'll see things and I'm like, yeah, it's it's all connecting, and then it's like it didn't happen until like a year later or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been kind of living in a future. I don't know how to even explain it. It's like I'm doing things for later on or something. So and if there's a big geyser of information that happens, then that would make sense, because it's like I'm constantly building it up, like making sure that it's okay. So, and I'm harmless. It's all good. You know, um, so the Cosmos 426 and the Joseph Kabbalah. So, um, so I think we have this going on. Let me get this to focus. I think something with this is going on. I don't know exactly, but and I'm sorry if I use names or whatever. I try not to do that, but I just get excited sometimes, and I'm like, look at these kinetics. Like this is like Morpheus fighting Neo, like a must see, thing. But they're not fighting; they're at peace, and it's not Morpheus and Neo. It's like Trinity and you know Stanley or something. And Stanley kind of represents that George Washington on the Mount Rushmore a little bit. Like those four characters are end times based. They use them to represent stuff, and it's all good. None of it is bad. I'm not against any of that. But if that happened, and this here, the peanuts, because my because you had the Smo here, Joe Smo, Joe Smo's morning BF, or the pit opened for the word of God to come out of the pit and start the end times, so to say. I don't want to scare you. I'm not trying to scare anybody. It's just, I've got all that mapped out in specific order what all happens. But so the so my uncle Ron, who is my cousin Joey's dad, he would always eat peanuts, and he's type 1 diabetes, so he has to have sugar, not the other way around. And nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, because this Smo kind of equals the Joe character. But the peanuts, I remember vividly, and they'll use my symbolism to show all this stuff, because it's like whatever I'm doing, the stuff is a microcosm of it. Like, they call it the object of the verb. Like they use me to call the stuff what it is, like stuff from my life. Now, I know that sounds like psychosis, and it partly is. I realize that. But it's also, some of it is very true. And I've been taught this stuff about myself by people on YouTube's and people outside my life, just based on my presence and everything that they say. So, this actually equals, and remember, he was the father figure. So this actually equals that G, like with EA, okay, which is what we've been going over recently of the Isaiah 51, which I rely on heavily, but that that to have someone be the G of it, because part of it was done by UN Shike. If you want to find him, he's in my other videos, but UN Shike did the first part of it, where it says, art thou not thou that has or it that has done these things, in the olden times, and now you're doing this. Like, so it's kind of it's a transfer of a timeline. So the GEA, they were going for that it would be Solomon, my friend Nick Nozell, who is now Buddy with Maida in the music, and this actually equals right here, the N would be drown, and the UT would be Solomon, Psalm 72, and that's S there. So and that actually, so this is saying that it is coronavirus. That's what that is saying there. So this is telling me CoSMOS 426, this is related to coronavirus, because I got a head wound that looks like Harry Potter from an armoire that I ran into with a Batman mask on when I was a kid. And remember, Bane breaks Batman's back. And I actually broke my foot and my back in April of 2020, on April 3rd. And, the rescue team actually said, this is kind of off topic, but the rescue team who rescued me off the mountain said, he's DC, be careful. They said that at the end when they were transferring me to the ambulance. He's DC, be careful. I still to this day don't know what that means exactly. I don't plan on being a politician, if you're thinking that, but and I wouldn't, I'm not on track to be one anyway, and it wouldn't make any sense. So but that, and then I actually went through a sanctuary that Billie Eilish talks of in her music, of they felt like they were right there. I went through something like that without any hallucinogen or anything, not, clean and sober. I went through that while I was taking my sister to the airport with my mom driving, and that was on March 19th of 2020. Now, I've given you 3 dates. The start of the deal, which was a few days after Kobe Bean Bryant died. I've given you March 19th, and I've given you April 3rd, all of 2020. Now, the thing about March 19th is, if you look at Daniel, the dates given in Daniel about the ram and the goat, and if you go from Paul Walker's death day, you'll find something very interesting. And it's right there because it was a nighttime. It was, it'll read like a day off, but it's right there. And it's just, Paul Walker in the symbolism. In my earlier videos, I did a whole study on Paul Walker, date to date. And he always equaled 47. Always 47. Some people would call that Bethlehem Ephrata from Micah, but I call it the man, okay? And there's a son of man, and that may be different from Jesus. But Jesus I see as how they see it in Moana Earth. The Moana Earth character I see as Jesus. Now, I don't think that's the sacred woman. I think the sacred woman kind of represents like the volcanoes and stuff. Her symbolism is usually shown with them, like eruptions and stuff. And she represents a perfect female, kind of like how the Hopi would describe it, like she's doing everything perfectly, even when she messes up, it's perfect. And they would call her a Keetvan, which means a 43. So I don't know why they were calling me DC at the ambulance, but they might have meant loves him is 43. He love C, John kind of means that, but I don't know. It's a mystery, but and a lot of this is explained. There's the bend bow, kind of like the Predator bow, Predator film, film, and the Matrix end of the film, the hallway, bend bow, like Hindu many arms, where their lives are microcosms of others, but they're living their life normally. And then just intensities. And then there's the Mesa character who has many lives, but never a Zion, like a glory type moment. And then you have the Zion, the 9, which is the bottomless pit, which is the word of God, who has many lives and does glory also at the end, which is kind of where we're at now. But then you have, and that's kind of the word of God. Remember, they said is God as well. So then you have this whole system of Baal Kresh, I call it. Now, Baal Kresh is like Krishna, pure love and entanglement love, like he loves through the entanglement, and he's a balance of the forces. Now, force God is only mentioned one time in the Bible in Daniel, but I believe that this force God has been the God that I answer to. That's who I believe actually I answer to, and I think that he was in the garden as the character of that he was against the ego of it all, and that he told, and that Satan was his apprentice, and like he told Satan, like, now you need to tell the woman to use it. And what that means is like all of the beasts of Daniel 7, that the woman would need to be attached to them through pointillism of Hendrik Goltzus and all this stuff of the different gravities, the different garden gravities of the rivers, and that the woman would have to use it, and that they would prove their love through that, if that makes sense. So it's a kind of a different take, but that's explained through Blade and Whistler of the Blade films. And like, if you say Blade is Satan and Whistler is kind of about Kresh, just I use different personifications of them all the time to show different things. But like in this sense, um, that's when Blade says like use it, like use your anger or whatever to overcome something else. But really, he's saying use the what we think of as the clown. So, is all through the Bible. It's all through the Bible. It talks of. It goes against Moab. It goes against Philistines. It judges all the nations. God uses it for that. So, and I believe it is the actual lost brothers. I believe it's Ishmael. I believe it's the daughters of Lot. Their children, and I believe that's my tribe actually. That's why I said that one. I usually don't say that one, but I believe that that's my tribe is Moab. Now it doesn't mean the daughter got drunk and had sex with the father. It means it's the symbolism of the love type, and I explained that in other videos. We don't have to go into that in this one, but it's symbolic and like Cain, Esau, the giants, the mixtures. Remember, God said that the America was like a melting pot, and like our or not God, well, our founding fathers, so it's and don't take this stuff the wrong way. These are just examples, but that they inherit the dew of heaven. We're so far into these end times that they have broken the bands and become people in the industry and stuff, people in politics, people that are millionaires, people that are like all sorts of stuff, sports athletes, everything, actors, movie stars, you know that's what I believe. I think that they are the actual lost brothers and sisters, and all that stuff. So um all right, so that kind of explains my channel a little bit. I go into a lot of different stuff, but keep a mercy mindset. These kinetics, I'm telling you, they were pretty striking. 7884 satanic, that's a cipher. Okay, that's nothing bad. That's nothing bad. Okay. um Peace. Okay, is what I'm saying. But that's a cipher. On this is gematrinator.com. Okay, that's where you find all this. And reverse trigonal, which means it's like a triangular. It's a reverse of that, like getting above the burdens of Egypt. Um, let's see. Well, those are the only two I got for this one. But relation and relation of those are described there. This is here. I can write some of this. Uh, that's somebody I mentioned. That's the start 51. And then let's see. Gematrinator.com. I don't think it's the devil. Okay, I don't think Gematrinator.com is the devil. You can plug in anything you want in there and it'll come up. Francis Bacon and Frank Baconis are case sensitive. Remember, if you plug in a 0, nothing will show up. But if you plug in an O, it's 15. So I use that. Yeah, it's nothing to worry about. Some of these watchmen, they get all crazy about Gematrinator and how they use it and stuff, and they'll just type in like one word. I'm typing in big phrases. Like I'm like, let's use the damn thing. Like Like I'm typing in big phrases, like it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. God said, like, why did God number the chapters? And like like they're and the verses are numbered. Like think of that. Like the verses are numbered. Why didn't he just have it be like a book, like chapter by chapter? Not all these numbers like for the verses. Like, why'd he do it that way? You telling me like that doesn't mean anything? Like, it does. Like you know, it's letters into numbers is gematria. That's all it is, and it means stuff. I was doing this in a dark place. I laid out the paper. I was like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. I was like, how can I read the news like this? Like find the code of it, because I knew some of it was like how it sounds and stuff. But I wanted to go deeper and be like, no, what is it actually like saying here? So, I don't think that was the devil. So, all right, thank you. Have a good night. Keep a mercy mindset. I'm not saying anything against anyone.